videographers, this is Allyson Lewis with the 7-Minute Life, back with another video on time management. I think people all across the world want to improve their time management, but sometimes it's that they need to improve other facets of their life. And a ton of people that visit our site are looking for ways to solve the problem of distraction. And it's interesting because my videographer, who's sitting on the trunk right beside me, was going, "Ah!" and it distracted me, so we had to take a second take. And actually that's supposed to be funny because all around you are things that are going to distract you every day of your life. Whether it's a text message coming in or a phone ringing or even a bell outside or the honk of a horn. When you try to use your time management, you're really trying to focus your attention and push away all the things that are unimportant. So today, I'm going to try to help you work through distraction by understanding how the human brain works. And I am one of those people that on Friday nights watches YouTube videos and reads textbooks about the brain. And what we're going to be talking today about is neuroplasticity. Now first I want to tell you I'm not a psychologist, I'm not in any way professionally trained, but this is one of the things that has captured my attention about how it affects time management since the very beginning of the research that I started doing way back in 2006. So what is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the fact that the human brain is plastic or changeable. 100 years ago, and even really about 40 years ago, they thought that once you were born and once you had, grown up a bit, that your brain was hardwired, literally that everything was connected together. And let's say by the time you were 10 or 11, if you were not able to do math, then you just, for the rest of your life, were not ever going to be able to do math. If you couldn't sing, then guess what? You could never learn to sing. If you weren't athletic, you could never learn to run. But what we found is that the brain is very plastic. And I want to give you an example of that because we deal with a lot of salesmen, men and women, who love to play golf. And golf is that one of those things, kind of like fish. Yeah, I shot a 70. Well, it's probably not always that way, but when you're learning to play golf, the first time you're out there, you're learning literally how to hold the club, how to put your head down, how to stand your feet, and it is very slow. The first few weeks that you play golf, it's really, really slow because you don't have that muscle memory. But if you were to take golf lessons for about 3 months, you'd get better. If you took them for a year and you played with your friends every couple times a week, you'd get a lot better. And why is that? Because the more you do something, the more familiar it becomes to your body, to your muscles, and to your brain, and you absolutely just get better. Let me give you one more example of something a little sadder, is that if you were on your way home today and you had a terrible accident and became blind, your visual cortex, which sits back here in the back of your brain, would no longer be needed because you wouldn't need that sight, those wires and connections coming in. What would almost immediately begin to happen is that your other senses would begin to take over that space, just like real estate. Your sense of hearing would grow, your touch would grow, your sense of smell. All of those things would increase the number of wires in your brain. And by plasticity, all of those things would begin to move in to where you were seeing. And it's interesting to me, the people that I've met who are visually impaired have such amazing extra abilities with things like finding their way around, remembering where things are. But just to show you how plastic the brain is, if you are blind and you learn how to read Braille, you actually learn how to read Braille in the visual cortex. So why is all this important and what in the world does it have to do with distraction? Well, I'm going to draw a picture of a brain. Now realize that I am in no way an artist. So here is a picture of a brain. That's pretty clever, I think. And we'll title it Brain, so since my drawing is not great, you won't forget that this incredible drawing is a brain. So here we have a brain, and I want to show you how the brain works. So let's say that this is just a few seconds of your brain. You only can bring inputs into your life through the 5 senses. So your brain is going to receive inputs of information from what you hear, from what you see, from what you taste, touch, and smell. Now, what is so interesting to me is I used to think that the brain itself had some kind of magic ability to think. All that the brain is doing is bringing in all these inputs and decoding them. I want you to see how this works. As you're looking at this video, your eyes are not actually seeing it. What your eyes are seeing are the different wavelengths that are being sent to you through wherever you're watching this, and your brain is taking those wavelengths, decoding them, and in your brain seeing an image. It's just like a child learning to see for the first time. They can't see. They have to eventually train their brain to see their mother's face, to see their own hand, to begin to understand colors, to begin to understand letters. All of those things happen because of the inputs that come in. And so here's what happens in the real world. You're sitting at your desk, you're trying to make something happen, and all of a sudden you hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. You have all these things. So your stomach gets hungry right in the middle of a project, and all of a sudden you're tasting chocolate and you just are distracted because you want to go eat chocolate. Or you smell the popcorn that's being popped. Or you hear someone's phone go off or someone's laughter. So all of these inputs are coming in into your brain, and I want to tell you how frightening this is that as you go through, there are between 11 million and 40 million inputs coming into your brain every second. Every second you have all these things that are coming in through your five senses, what you hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. Millions of pieces of information. Well, how does your brain process through that? The human brain is an unbelievable processor. It holds over between 80 and 100 billion neurons. Billion. It's one of the fastest processors ever. But how does it wade through all of this stuff? And this is distraction. Every piece of this noise, all the clutter that's running in, your heartbeat that you don't feel, the temperature, the chair you're sitting in, the pen you're holding, the air conditioner that's running, the clock that's ticking, all of this information is swirling in your head. It's amazing at all to me that we can focus our attention. So here's what happens, and this is how you can begin to deal with that horrible problem of distraction. What I believe has to happen, and does happen, is that we begin to create a funnel that this information, all these millions of bits of information come through, and there's this filtering system. And so as you're driving down the highway, you don't memorize every car. As you're mowing the yard, you don't think about every step you take. All of that is noise. So what goes into your funnel is what is the most unexpected and the most interesting. So here you are working on a budget report, and all of a sudden your text goes off and you're thinking, hey, that text must mean I'm really special, so I'm going to answer the text. Anything that is novel, interesting, unexpected will interrupt this from going in. So what you have to do is you have to create a focal point or a choke point for what's most important to you. So how in the world can you choose out of 11 million to 40 million bits of information what you're going to let into your brain? This is where all this really becomes quite interesting. Time management does not start by getting more done. Time management begins with conscious, and I'm going to try to spell this right, can I have help from the videographer? C-O-N, spelling is not my forte, C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S, I'm hoping. Please don't hold spelling against me. But everything about distraction and how to get rid of it begins with conscious awareness. You have to decide what you're going to pay attention to. And the only way that you can, is that not right?
C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S.
Awesome! I spelled it right. Thanks, videographer. So if you want to get rid of distraction, you have to become consciously aware. You cannot wake up in the morning, hop in the shower, create some kind of mental to-do list, have all these things, hundreds of things, swirling in your brain, everything from the fact that you need to get gas in your car, oh my goodness, the hem's coming out of your slacks, that your car has notebooks in it and books that you need to return, and all these things, this to-do list that we create, are completely worthless because they're just things swirling in our mind. What if you took time to become consciously aware of the real things that were important to you that you wanted to accomplish? The whole 7-minute thing is that we're going to encourage you, I'm going to swap colors here, we're going to encourage you that there are 24 hours in every day. 24 hours that you can choose to use for whatever you want to put in. You can choose to focus on all these distractions and let distraction lead you, or you can understand that out of 24 hours, there are 1,440 minutes. All that we ask you at this 7-minute life is to take 1% of that time. 1% of your day, which comes out to be 14 minutes. So how do you become consciously aware? We want you to take 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning to think. And that's a hard part because life is so busy and we're so distracted that we don't even know how to think. We want to have you take 1% of your time, 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning, and to become consciously aware. And there's only one question that we're going to ask you to think through. And when you're consciously aware and you're taking 7 minutes in the evening, we're going to ask you to answer one question. And that question is, what is my goal for tomorrow? Now, if you're watching this at a desk or at your home, I want you to take that pen and write down, what is my goal for tomorrow? Dawson Trotman, who is someone that I admire, has said that my thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through my fingertips. Let me say that one more time. My thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through my fingertips. In other words, when you think something and then all of a sudden you write it down, it creates that focus, because here's what's happening if you're thinking about it. How many things are in your brain going on while you're trying to think about something without being consciously aware? I see people all the time eating their dinner, texting, walking down the street, texting. They're distracted. In fact, they like to be distracted. They feel like when they're just thinking, they can't get anything done. Now, I'd love for you to take just a challenge. I'd like you to set your iPhone tonight for 7 minutes. Turn it face down and start thinking about what is my goal for tomorrow. And taking your pen, writing down these words, what is my goal for tomorrow, and then taking 7 minutes to see what you can write down. My guess is it's been a long time since you've sat down for even 7 minutes with no noise, with your phone turned off, and just sat for 7 minutes. You will be shocked at how long that is and how powerful it is to be able to do that. So why is this exciting? Because when you ask the question, what is my goal for tomorrow? What you are doing is you are choosing. You're choosing what's going to funnel out of this noise into your brain, because you have made a conscious choice to decide what you're going to do. That's very different than how we live. 7 minutes in the evening to decide your goal, and then in the morning to take out another 7 minutes to write down, out of all this noise, out of all the things I could do, what are the best choices for me to do? Now, once you've done that, then that's where time management becomes really tricky. You come into the office, and a lot of people come in with a lot of things that are happening. What we want you to do is narrow your scope. That's what a funnel does, is it narrows the scope down to 5 high-value activities that you can accomplish before 11 o'clock. All this noise is pulling you in every direction. In fact, one of the friends that I listened to when I was a little bit younger said, Do you know where the word distraction came from? And I don't know if this is true or not, but he said, do you know where the word distraction came from? I said, no. He said it came from an ancient form of torture. They would take your right arm and they would tie it to a horse. And they would take your left arm and tie it to another horse. And they'd take your right leg and tie it to a third horse. And your left leg and tie it to a fourth horse. They would slap the horses and the horses would distract you. And I mean literally distract you. It would kill you. And those of you that are listening to this video, I know that millions of you feel like this every day, pulled in every direction, not knowing all the things that are happening, pulling at you because you're not consciously aware of what you want to do and who you want to be. And as you go through this exercise, I want you to understand you can't do it all. A lot of the people that have been in these classes have said, for the first time, I feel like it's okay to not get it all done. Out of all these millions of things you could choose from every second, you can't do it all. But what if you could do 5 high-value things a day? What if you could cut through the noise, cut through the distraction, cut through the things that are novel, cut through the things that you're unexpecting, that you're not expecting, that are unexpected, you know, kind of like a plate dropping in a restaurant. Of course, that's going to grab your attention. All of these take your attention and steal it from you. It robs you from accomplishing what you want to do. So here's the final thing. If you would take these 7 minutes and you would create a written daily plan of action, written daily plan, daily, glad I didn't have to ask my videographer how to spell daily, plan of action. If you just take 7 minutes to create a written plan of action and write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you're going to do. Tiny little steps that are going to move you forward. If you come in and say, I'm going to create a budget review before 11 o'clock, you can't. You don't have any plans. What you'd have to do is say, okay, I'm going to find out what is needed in the budget review. I'm going to talk to the people of when they need it. Other things that you might have to do is I'm going to return that phone call that I haven't wanted to return. So these little tiny things have to be between 2 minutes and 20 minutes, because guess what, gang? That's all you got. That's the bandwidth that we have. But here's where it gets really exciting. Distraction is a huge problem. We all suffer from it. But imagine if you came in the office with conscious awareness, taking those things, funneling in what you wanted to do, and completed one task from start to finish and checked it off. And took the second task and completely finished it and checked it off. And the third and the fourth and the fifth. If you get rid of distraction and focus on things that are important to your job and important to you, and you accomplish 5 things a day, imagine how that would feel in a week. If you accomplish 5 high-value things for 7 days, you would have accomplished 35 things this week, starting right now. If you focused on this 5 before 11 for the next 90 days, you would take 450 steps forward. 450 steps forward toward becoming the person you want to be. 450 steps that you can do within 2 minutes to 20 minutes. That's what the 7-minute life is about. So many people struggle with distraction. It's not really time management that they want. It's getting rid of the problems. It's getting rid of the distraction, getting rid of the clutter, getting rid of the procrastination. And you can do that by creating new processes, because your brain will change. We'll be talking about this a lot more. Time management has nothing to do with how much stuff you have to do. It's how you can prioritize it and use your brain. Now I kind of want to close this out with just one more thing that I want people to understand. When you want to create guardrails and get rid of this distraction, I think you have to have tools. You have to have something. I loved it when they started putting those, what do you call those, reflectors down the highway, so even if it was raining, you could see where you were going. That's why the 7-minute life is different. We don't just tell you, okay, here's the problem, go figure it out on your own. We have tools. And today I'm just going to share with you that we have a daily planner that is so simple. There's no technology. It's a pen and a piece of paper, and it can change your life. I hope you will visit the7minutelife.com, go to our website, and it's going to be even more important. You can listen to one video and find it helpful, but we want you to subscribe to our channel. We want you to like our channel, and we want you to tell your friends, because people all across the country are having the life ripped out of them because they don't have time to do the things that are most important. They don't have the time to focus on their faith, their family, their friends, and things that are in alignment with what's most important to them. So don't forget to subscribe. Just take a look up here at this eye and you can find out a lot more about what we do. And we want to get to know you better. So welcome to the 7 Minute Life.